The rain came down in sheets the night everyone else walked past him. Cars sped by on the slick streets of downtown Atlanta, headlights blurring into white streaks, horns impatient, people eager to get home. On the sidewalk near a closed pharmacy, a man lay slumped against a brick wall, his expensive coat soaked through, his breathing shallow and uneven. His phone was dead, his vision faded in and out, and for the first time in his powerful life no one knew his name. Except her. Nia had learned how to notice things others ignored. You had to when you lived on the streets. The way a body leaned wrong, the sound of breath that wasn't right, the look of someone who wasn't just drunk or tired but dying. She was 23, thin from missed meals, her looks pulled back under a worn hoodie. She'd been homeless for nearly 2 years after aging out of foster care. Tonight, she'd earned $6 holding doors open and returning carts. It wasn't much, but it was enough for bread and soup unless she spent it helping a stranger. She stopped when she saw him. At first, she thought he was another businessman who'd had too much to drink. His shoes were polished, even under the grime. His watch, heavy, gold peeked from his sleeve. People like him didn't usually end up on the sidewalk. But when she knelt beside him, she felt his forehead, burning. "Hey," she whispered, shaking him gently. "Sir, can you hear me?" His eyes fluttered, unfocused. His lips moved, but no words came out. Naya's heart pounded. She could walk away. People told her all the time to mind her business. Cops already treated her like she didn't belong. Helping him could mean trouble. But she remembered nights when she'd prayed anyone would see her. She pulled out her cracked phone and dialed 911. While they waited, she did what she could. She pressed her scarf to his bleeding temple, spoke softly so he wouldn't drift away, shielded him from the rain with her own thin jacket. When the sirens finally came, she stayed until the paramedics lifted him onto the stretcher. "What's your name?" one of them asked. "Nia," she said. "You family?" She shook her head. "Just someone who stopped." They rushed him away. No one asked her anything else. Within minutes, the street returned to its normal rhythm. Nia stood there, soaked, cold, and hungry. She spent her $6 on soup and bread anyway. Saving a life felt like a meal all on its own. 3 weeks passed. Life didn't magically improve. Shelters were still full. Some nights, she slept behind the same pharmacy, staring at the same brick wall. She wondered sometimes if the man survived. She hoped he did, but she didn't expect to ever know. Then the black SUVs arrived. They rolled into the small community park where volunteers handed out meals every Friday. 4 of them, shiny, silent, out of place. People froze. Some thought it was the police. Others backed away nervously. A tall man in a tailored suit stepped out, then another. Then a woman with a clipboard, and finally a familiar face. The man walked slowly, carefully, as if still recovering. His hair was neatly cut now, his posture strong, but his eyes stopped the moment they landed on Nia. "It's her," he said, his voice steady but thick with emotion. "That's the girl," the crowd murmured. Nia stood up slowly, heart racing. "Do I know you?" she asked. He smiled gently. "You saved my life?" Her eyes widened. "You're—" "The man from the street," he nodded. "My name is Marcus Halle," someone gasped. Another whispered it out loud. Marcus Halle, tech billionaire, media favorite. One of the richest black men in America. Nia's knees nearly buckled. "I didn't know," she said quickly, fear creeping in. "I didn't take anything, I swear." He raised a hand. "I know. You gave me everything when you had nothing." He turned to the crowd. 3 weeks ago, I collapsed from an undiagnosed heart infection. My security was delayed. My phone died. Hundreds walked past me. This young woman stopped. She called for help. She stayed. Doctors told me that without those minutes, I wouldn't be standing here. Marcus looked back at Nia, eyes shining. I spent my life believing money protected me from everything. That night taught me it didn't. Kindness did. He reached into his coat and handed her a folder. Inside was a check that made her breath catch, paperwork for a small apartment, and a letter of sponsorship for school. "I don't want to just give you money," he said. "I want to give you options, education, stability, choice." Nia's hands trembled. Tears spilled down her cheeks. "Why?" she whispered. Because you saw me as human when the world saw you as invisible, he said. And that's the kind of person who changes lives. The park was silent. Then applause broke out, slow at first, then thunderous. Months later, Nia stood on the balcony of her own apartment, books stacked behind her, the city glowing below. She still volunteered every Friday. She never forgot where she came from. Marcus recovered fully. But he often said the greatest investment he ever made wasn't in technology or stocks. It was in stopping for someone the world had decided didn't matter and realizing she mattered more than anyone ever knew.